And now, you're tuned in to RBLR, the home of Tampa Bay's Reveler Sports.
What is going on, Tampa Bay and beyond, as my man James Knowles would say. Welcome into a little thing we've been cooking up. We've been cryptically tweeting at midnight to prepare for this, just with minutes before we did it. But you might know one or two of the guys on this panel, because RBLR and the unused substitutes gave you a little bit of that appetizer earlier this week. But now the main course is here. We are together, Rowdies, and podcast togethers. The Mega Powers unite. Matthew Cox and Ben Wilcox. And I'm, the third cock here. All of us are here to talk about the green and gold. Matthew, what's up, man? Welcome back into the RBLR dome, brother.
I was trying to think. I know I've been on before, but I can't remember when, and that's probably because I'm old and my memory sucks. But yeah, it's been a while. It's good to see everybody again.
And then Ben Wildcokes. It's
nice to meet you. Yeah, you're in the right realm. It's close enough. I respond to just about anything these days.
So long time no see. We loved you as a guest. We had to have you back, but yeah, man, this is awesome. Thank you for everyone who is joining us, whether you're on Twitter, whether you're on Instagram, whether you're on YouTube. Of course, all of those things are two-way communication devices. So at any point in time, we want your interaction too. Drop your comments, give us some retweets, drop it on IG. Like, let us know what's up. We are going to be watching the whole game, which is kicking off in just about 10 minutes on ESPN Plus. So please, wherever you're at, if you're at one of the watch parties in St. Pete or in Sarasota, if you're if you've driven yourself to North Carolina, we'd love to be while you're watching the game on one screen and listening to there. Maybe you got us on the background or on your mobile device as you're hanging out. So, well, Matt, how did we get in this situation? This was supposed to be a home game, dude. What is up? How did that happen?
Weather sucks. I mean, I appreciate you cutting out, like cropping this either side of me so you cannot see that. Number one, I'm still living out of boxes in my place I moved into now several months ago, and also the fact that the boxes are all elevated because I'm in the room that water tends to come into when hurricanes come back to back within a 3-week span.
You mean you didn't pay for waterfront property when you moved in?
I'm technically closer to the water than I was when I was going to say I used to be, but I did not expect it to be coming under the walls I first learned it with Debbie. That was just a little tropical storm that sat on me for like a day and a half, and it had about almost 2 inches of rain.
Yeah.
Then I got out of town for Milton, came back, and the towels that I had pushed up against the wall, those were still a little damp. So it happened again, I guess.
No,
we've all got waterfront property at some point.
Yeah.
I just don't. Hopefully, not your bedroom doesn't need to be waterfront property. So
no. The rest of the house is a little bit higher than this room and seemingly in better condition.
Well, the lads, we were supposed to be at Outlang, and I'm sure they have to fix things. So we'll be at IMG for the rest of the year, I believe, with any home games in the future. But
right.
For tonight, they're in North Carolina. I know they tried their best to do something more locally, but this was the best option. So North Carolina gets 2 home games against us. So to all those people who made their trek out, it was a free ticket, and they said they're not doing concessions, which is weird. I don't know why they would not do concessions. Like, I'm sure some youth group or something, they could have donated the money of concessions back to the Rowdies or something. Marketing department, holler at your boy. We could have figured something out, but that's kind of why we're getting together. We're doing this for a good cause as well. We're going to get into the 11 in just a second, but this entire night, for everyone that's watching now, or if you catch it on the replay, in the top corner of this stream all night, we're going to be saying, please, whatever charity of choice, and even Dan Indonino has chimed in with his own charity of choice, and if we can get $300 and drop those receipts, guys, that we're on social media, we've all retweeted it. Drop those receipts. If we can get 300, we're going to drag him on here too. So let's get Dan in here.
We've got guests lined up for the first half. We've got guests lined up for halftime. Dan will jump in the second half if you can get the money.
Yes.
We can get to the right level. And look, I taught math for a year, so I will gladly add numbers up till they get to about 300.
I love it.
We'll see what we get to.
But if your charity of choice is the American Red Cross or Metropolitan Ministries or Feeding Tampa Bay or Community Foundation Tampa Bay, these are just a number of options that that money goes directly into our pockets of people who need it in our community. Yep. So please, if you have anything to give, please do so for that. So and I'll be bringing that up a few times through the night, just a reminder, and for more people as they come trickling in. But Ben, we got a game to talk about. So the 11 has just dropped. We have a few minutes before the kickoff. So Perez, Arteaga, Jennings up front, Bodley, Hilton, Bender, Nyongabire in the mid, and then Guillen, Kleeman, Doherty in front of a returning Jordan Farr back in the lineup. Phil Brino, unfortunately unable to play because of a concussion sustained in training. What's your first thoughts of this 11 as we need desperately these 3 points tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I think you hit it right on the last part there, right? Phil Brino being out, I think after playing I would say a really good game against Louisville. I was really excited to see him get his second start. A lot of keepers will tell you repetition and live action really does wonders for you. So I was really excited to see it. But I say that, but like, who's coming in? Jordan Farr. I mean, that's a pretty good weapon to have coming in off your bench. I understand that he was having a bit of a rough go coming into Louisville, which is why Breno got the start, but he's still a great goalkeeper. I mean, we're not missing a lot by having him in there. So other than that, and we talked about this before stream, I mean, the starting 11 is pretty much who you'd expect. I think you just got to say at this point, Bender is your starting 11. I think he's proven it. He's been absolutely wonderful since he's been on the field. And then outside of that, I mean, you've got your top three. We've got all the people who went out there that have been putting the numbers up all season. I like this. I like the way we line up. We need the 3 points. You're right. And I think this is the team to do it.
I would say, Maddie, we got your thoughts on the 11, but also on the bench, Manjoma, Crisostomo, Nate Worth coming back from international duty, Rivera, Leo Fernandez, and the youngster Mustali. And Tanner Aiken is actually on the bench tonight too. I don't think he's been on the bench at all this year.
No, not that I can think of.
But Aiken is.
I'm going to echo what Ben said, and I was doing a little pre-match reading actually yesterday, and for as much as and rightfully so, the kid out in Charleston gets the plaudits for scoring 5 million goals this season. Rowdies have two guys in the top 5 in Jennings and Arteaga for goals on the season. It's and what it feels like neither of them have really scored. I know Manu's had one in the last game, and I think it may be a penalty and 1 or 2 before. But it feels like both of them have been kind of in a slump, but they're still sitting there in that top 5. So the key is really, get those guys back on track. They've got the proven track record. And then, if you can do that early and you can bring in, to be able to bring in a Leo Fernandez, a Damian Rivera, Nate Worth, we've seen what he's been able to do in games. It's there. I think lately the problem maybe has been confidence, maybe has been execution. It's been a little bit of those. Give this team a lead to play with, and I think we're going to see a whole different squad.
On the flip side, I'll give you the North Carolina roster. You've got Anderson in the middle with Conway and DaCosta up top. Martin, Maldonado, Armstrong, Metzigan in the middle. Craig, Washington, Batista is a back 3, and you've got McGuire. I would say you definitely have to worry. It's pretty evenly spaced. Conway, Anderson, and DaCosta. Conway and Anderson both have double-digit goals. But Rodrigo DaCosta is a player who he wins in the air. He's also in the top 86th percentile of goals. He also is in the top 81st percentile of chances created. So he's a dude that while he only has 7 goals, right, he's responsible for a lot of the action up front. Then in the midfield, you have a triumvirate of Armstrong, Maldonado, and Metzigan, who all have shown that they can create a lot of chances, and they've created 5 or 6 assists between the 3 of them or each. On the backside, though, they've got a good defensive back line of Batista, who's good at clearing the ball. Paco Craig, good at blocking on the wing, and the same thing with Bryce Washington in the middle. So they get after it. I'm not going to tell you I'm an expert on the North Carolina FC team, but they don't seem like a pushover. They definitely feel like if you give them a chance, they will take it. And they've got 3 dudes up top that can put it in the net. They've got 4 dudes in the middle that can service that ball. And they've got a pretty strong back line that if we don't get some penetration from Jennings, if we don't get Perez making some plays, and we don't get Arteaga being a little flashy tonight, it might be hard to pull out the win because, like I said, they're not going to push over.
No,
yeah.
I was going to say something we talked about on the podcast this week. By the numbers, if you look at it, these two teams are exactly the same across the board. The only difference is we put more shots. We have more shots on target than them. But outside of that, we are exactly the same team, position to position. So, I mean, this is going to be a tough challenge regardless of how it goes down. Like, this is not going to be a pushover game. I don't care where they sit in the standings right now. They're a good team, and this is always a good game. So this is going to be a challenge. I mean, this is exactly what you want. If you want to do what we talked about on the podcast, that you want to respond, you want to show that fight, you want to show that you deserve to be in the playoffs, this is exactly the game that you want to do it. Look, and it does suck to have to play your home game in North Carolina. It's a great facility. It's a good pitch. It's going to be great weather. This is optimal setup, minus the fact that it's not your actual home game, to put on a dang good game and just push your agenda on this team. So I'm as much as you have to fear your opponent, you also have to make them fear you. So I'm excited. So this is going to be fun.
For those who don't know where they are in the standings, North Carolina is currently sitting 9th, a couple spots back from the Rowdies. Rowdies, like we've been talking about this last little bit of a slump here, slipped down to 6th place overall, sitting on 46 points. North Carolina is in a clump of teams tied on 42 points. They're just outside the playoffs right now, so they do have some motivation besides, hey, we get to play an extra home game. They've got some goals in this game as well, too. They're still in it. They're still trying to get to the postseason. So, yeah, definitely not going to be a pushover. Definitely not going to be, walk in the park, even though it's apparently going to be a very nice park. But see what these guys can do.
Let's get to one of these comments again on Instagram, guys. Bill Romanoff, you guys are great. Wish I had some cash to share. I'm working on my roof, guys. Even if you don't have cash, we have put out a number of tweets with direct links to some of the organizations we're mentioning tonight. Even if you retweet that to your people out there in your world of social media, maybe someone's got a buck or two that you might know. So each one teach one about the opportunity, and we who knows how far we could trickle to help out the people in here. Also in the comments, we got Jesus Steve. Hey, come on, Rowdies! And my beer count is at 3. I'm working. I'm getting there. I had to take away my name so I could show the beer count, but we're getting there. But
mine's hidden. It says Coke 0, count at 2.
Well, here we go. Now, they're showing the playoff clinching scenarios. It gives me to a question that is from one of our YouTube viewers right now. I don't want to be negative right now, but we do have some question marks. We're not in the best run of form right now. We were sort of talking about this before the stream, but the question that's being posed, and this is on people's minds, is, do you think Robbie Nielsen needs to go? I think it's a little early to have him on such a hot seat. Yep. Okay, I'm not saying it's all rainbows, but we're in a playoff position. If we're not in that playoff position, maybe we can revisit this conversation. But and maybe I'll change my mind. But as of right now, well, you tell me, Matt. Is this a little bit of a too hot of a seat for Robbie Nielsen right now, or is this just kind of something we should be thinking about?
I mean, look, we always knew this was going to be a very different season than what we've been used to the last few years under Neil Collins, where, Neil Collins could put out 11 guys out there, one of whom may not have any arms, and we still managed to get into a 4th playoff spot kind of on a regular basis. And we looked at some of, we had a list of returning players coming back, guys we knew, guys that were a solid core, solid foundation. There's still going to be some adjustment. And we've had some pretty serious injuries this year, and we've had a large number of injuries as well, too. So is he on the hot seat? I doubt it. It's one of those first year things. Should he be? I don't know that I can say that in this situation. If it's where we've been up in that top 4 kind of all year long, and we all of a sudden drop out and don't make the playoffs, then I think it's a conversation that can at least be had. But I don't know if it's a definite stone cold lead pipe lock.
Here's a good over in the States, we have so much patience. He was forced out the door from Hearts fans, and we were sitting at second the first time he's left. I was totally against it, so good going for being patient. Now, our patience, I think, is rooted, Ben, in the fact that, like, the league is important. We want to be the number one. We want to win the plate. We want to be the regular season champions like we've been. Like, that is important, but the American game is a little different because we all want to be – the Knockout Cup is sort of – like, we've won a regular season championship, but we don't put a star above our logo because of that, unfortunately. Right. It's when you win the playoffs in the way that we do it in this country is like you win the cup, you get the star. So with that said, our patience, I think, is that if you get into the tournament, you have a shot at the star. And we of course, that year we won the regular season championship. We were knocked off by a team that was hanging on to get into that playoff spot and on the other side of the bracket. So it hurts. So I think the pain you feel every week when the league is on the line, that's one kind of pain. But the other pain of being in the finals of a knockout and it being so important here, that's maybe when the patience, the dagger hits a little harder. But so just sort of explaining that. But yeah, I could see we've seen managers this year that are very near and dear to us get sacked because of where they're placed on the table right now. Yeah. Things are a little different. Maybe that's a good reason why a Scottish coach like Nielsen will want to come to America and coach in this league and country. But yeah, again, I don't know, a little too hot to handle. But now, again, if you don't get a ticket to that playoffs, now we start saying, yeah, that we're turning up the heat on that seat a little bit.
What if you get in and you're one and done, and it's it's like that game in Louisville a couple years ago at Slugger where it was like we backed into the playoffs and then backed right out real quick. Is that same level?
I mean, look, it hurts to get knocked out. I mean, regardless of when you get knocked out, but I mean, like Eureka was alluding to, you just want to get to the dance at this point. And as Rowdies fans, we've been spoiled. We had Neil Collins, who had so much success, so much consistency at the top of the league. But I mean, let's not forget him. He started off as a player. He knew this league very well. He knew the players. He knew the systems. I mean, he understood. Even as a new coach, he had a better sitting as to what was going to happen next than Nielsen did. And I think it'd be incredibly naive for us to think that Robbie was going to come in and absolutely smash it. I mean, did we want that? Sure. I mean, we're used to winning. We're used to being the top of the league. We're used to being, top dogs. And, we haven't quite been that this year. But I think how this team responds this year, wherever we end up, regular season, playoffs, whatever, how this team responds next season, I think we'll say a lot about, whether or not he should be on the hot seat. If we come in next year and we look bad or even worse, or it's just not happening, well, then I think absolutely he should be on the hot seat. But if we come back and respond, we're performing well, players are doing well, we're sitting where we want to sit, then I think it makes sense to understand the long play of here. You want to give a coach a couple of years to really develop. And I want to see him get that chance personally.
And in this country, I just want to say, because there was one more, we cannot get promoted to MLS. There's no pro rel in this country. So that's another part of it, is we weren't on like pins and needles trying to get promoted to more money or bigger, better things, kind of thing like that.
Yeah.
Sorry,
if the team owners didn't have to buy a new roof for the baseball stadium, then maybe Eureka, real quick, throw that top comment up there on the screen for everyone real quick. From Gary.
Which here we go.
So and this is the thing, because I've had games where I've watched some games in my mind, and like my right after the whistle blown gut check reaction is, man, this is bad. This is not working. Something's got to change. Remember, Neil Collins came in like halfway through the year.
Yep.
When he first started. And I'm going to use this as an opportunity once again to say, I thought that was an awful idea. We're taking our best defender off the field and putting him in as a coach, and who knows what he's going to be able to do.
Yeah. What do you know?
And I was so wrong about that. And I will gladly own up to that every time I have a chance. But I'm trying to remember. I don't think we made the playoffs that year when Neil came in halfway through. I don't believe we did, but that was kind of his getting used to the league, getting used to, being a head coach, all that kind of stuff. Now, Robbie's got a little bit of a head start on him in having been a head coach before, but not a head coach here. And every time we hear players or coaches come over from Europe, we hear that that it's a very different beast. The travel, the everything is a lot different here than playing in Europe. So I think you've got to give him at least a year to do an adjustment, see how he responds. What are the changes? What are the reactions? What are the adjustments? What are the improvements, hopefully? And then you can start making some of these decisions.
Yeah. I mean, and which players is he going to want to bring in next year? It's like, even though this is still his team, I mean, there's still going to be some adjustments made in personnel next year that will be more to his system. So, I think it would be incredibly, reactionary to do anything this year. Come on.
I just want to jump in real quick and throw in the game did kick off we're about in the fourth minute now. We did have in the third minute our first USL typo of the game where they listed the injury report. The only person out for Tampa Bay was F.Lao, L-A-O.
At least it wasn't first name, last name. That was a substitute late in one of the West Coast games. Well, let me introduce someone that probably needs no introduction to all the Rowdies fans around here. Here's a guy who we all love seeing around Al Lang, and now you get to see him on our live stream. So joining Unused Substitutes and RBLR's mega super live stream is the one and only Kenny Morales.
Yay! What's up, fellas? How y'all doing?
Now I feel like I have to go get a beer because even though Kenny has a legit job, the only times I see him at Al Lang is when we're hanging out in the stand drinking beers.
This is very true. I obviously love going there and covering the Rowdies as a reporter. I think I like going as a fan a little more, if I'm being totally honest.
Yeah, we understand. We've had those press passes for years, and half the time I kind of get in and I stick it in the pocket so I'm not walking around with the press pass around my neck and the big cold can in the other. It's way more fun that way.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. I did the same thing with Rays games sometimes too. I would take my press pass, get in there, hop in, and put that thing in the back pocket, grab myself a drink, and then find a seat.
Yes, I will neither confirm nor deny that maybe that's the last time I was at the Trop was we may have seen each other as a camera.
Yes, that wasn't that wasn't my last one. I think it was my second to last because I went one more time by myself. I was like, let's try this whole baseball game alone thing, and I loved it. I thought it was an awesome experience just going by yourself.
So I am on brand with my little 3-year-old running around. So welcome slumming it here on the live stream, man. But
thank you, man.
So Kenny, your thoughts on the Rowdies right now on a slide. Thankfully, we had the really good beginning of the season to kind of coast and have this buffer. The table's getting pretty tight. We can clinch. We need some help with a few other teams in the league. But overall, sort of what's your vibes check right now on the Tampa Bay Rowdies?
Yeah, I think you kind of mentioned it right there. The 3-game losing streak. It's been rough, man. The vibes feel a little off. I know obviously it hurts not getting to play at Al Lang. They've been so good there this year, but man, you got to win on the road. And I don't think they've won a road match since July? Yeah. Indy 11 was the last one, I think. And not only that, but offensively, I mean, look, you scored 50 goals this season, right? I think you're top 5 in the league in goals.
Yep.
You've scored 3 goals over the past 3 games. That's not going to get it done. You've got to find a way to produce more goals. And the tough part is now with Al Lang shut down, you're not at home. Granted, I know the last 2 are at IMG, but it's not far, 20, 25 minute drive, but it's not Al Lang. It's a
Correct.
limited capacity crowd. I don't know if you're going to get that same. Obviously, it's still going to be a lot of Rowdies fans, but it's different. It's a different type of pitch too. That you got to get used to playing there versus you're comfortable playing at Ao Lang. So, I'm hoping they can turn it around. Look, it's a perfect opportunity right now. Win today, and you're done. You're good to go. You're still now. Obviously, it'd be great to finish on a win streak, go into the postseason with a little momentum, especially because you're right there still for a top 4 seed and a home playoff match. Now, if that match were to be played at Ao Lang, that's neither. We don't know what that will end up being, but that'd still be huge to be able to host a playoff match at least in the first round.
Yeah. Well, the question coming in from IG that sort of piggybacks off that, when they get the ticket punched to the thing, does this team make the conference finals, guys? I guess we'll direct that to the whole panel, starting with you, Mr. Morales.
Ooh, do they make the conference finals? I think they can. Because, man, they've shown throughout the season that they can compete with the best. Like I know it was a long time ago, but that Louisville win at home was huge. And they've shown they can win in a multitude of ways, right? Whether they blow out teams, they've beaten teams 4-1, 5-2. They've also found ways to come back and snatch a victory from the jaws of defeat, if you will. The biggest question for me will be the defense. This team, they really miss Forrest Lasso. This team has given up, like 42 goals, I think, last time I saw. And that's like top 10 in the league. Like, that's not going to cut it. You're basically just trying to, it's like the Lightning from last year and maybe the past couple of seasons where you're just trying to outscore opponents.
Yeah.
And that strategy doesn't always work all the time.
Yeah. I can't think of a situation where it has worked.
Right. Usually comes back to bite you.
Yeah. And I'm with you here. It's like, we know we can compete with anyone. And I mean, as of late, a lot of those goals have come, at least as the goals against have come these last, 3-4 games. So it's like, the stats are a little skewed, but I still feel like this team, again, they played great against Louisville. They played a very solid game. Was it, perfect? No, obviously perfect we would have won. But I think up until, the last dying moments of that game, I think we were very evenly matched with easily the best team statistically, at least, by where they're ranked right now, the best team in the league. And there's every reason to think that we could have beaten them. So, look, if the team that's been playing the last 3 weeks goes in the playoffs, it could be one and done. I think that's probably the most likely. But if the team that we know that got up to that point and put in 50 goals, yeah, I think I'm with you. I think there's every reason to believe that we're going to go to the conference final. And I think I would love to see a rematch with Louisville in Louisville. I think that'd be beautiful. I think that's an awesome opportunity. But yeah, time will tell. Who knows?
Yeah. Real quick,
I think
Ben, I love that Dirty Head shirt.
Thank you.
That's a great shirt. I just got to say, I love that band.
Yes. Saw them live a few months ago. They were fantastic.
Nice. Very cool. Sorry to interrupt.
That's all right. Could they get to the conference finals? I guess. The whole thing with playoffs is that there's always the hot team, the team that's in form, getting in form at the right time. And right now, honestly, it looks like Detroit City. They've bumped up to third place right now. They're leading Indy 1-0. Indy's in fourth place at the same time. Louisville's been kind of consistent the entire year. Charleston's got, a goal-scoring robot at this point who managed to negotiate a deal where he stayed for the rest of the season, unfortunately. Can they get there? Yeah, but if they're going to do it, they're going to have to do it on the road. And, if we're putting a lot of emphasis on recent form, don't necessarily have the highest of expectations at that point. But again, also the reason why we're sitting here talking about why the current status is a little bit disappointing is because they've been good all season, because they did beat Louisville, because they have played these teams close, because they were in the top 4 for 2/3, 3/4 of the season. Like, we know that the potential is there. The possibility is there. Kenny, I think you're dead right. Forrest Lasso, not even just for what he does on the field, but like his leadership overall, I think 100%. Is a big part. I remember going to the COVID games when there was like 5 people in the stadium, and the best part of it was listening to Forrest Lasso talk to everybody, no matter where he was in the field. He just projected everywhere and told everyone very specifically what they should and should not be doing. And I think that's just something that they're missing right now.
Yeah, I would agree. It's like he's kind of like the quarterback, or if you're talking defense, the linebacker, the Mike linebacker of that Rowdies team, that back line, because like you said, he gets everybody not only in position, tells them where to go, but I think he's a calming presence as well. He's a veteran player. He's been in all kinds of situations. Nothing is new to him, right?
Yeah, and I think additionally, so something to add with this, something I've noticed this year is Guillen's also not having the year that he's had in the past. And not to say he's had a bad season, but I don't think he's been as dominant either on that left side like we've seen him be in the past. And I don't know if he's had something going on personally or just having an off year, but I just don't feel like he's been the same player either. Maybe it's just the way that Robbie's playing him this year. Maybe he's got him playing a different role. But I don't think that he's been the same player either.
He's been hurt a little bit. I think he played through an injury. He did actually miss a game, if not two, but maybe at least one for sure that he missed with injury. So I think he's been trying to push through it, which of course you're a warrior, you're going to do that. And sometimes you gotta. It takes you don't want to lose your spot, but he's Aaron Guillen, but like. As a competitor, you don't want to not be in the game, but sometimes you got to make the decision as a coach or save him from himself and say, "Hey, bigger picture, we want the third star. We need you to sit for a game." So, so Kenny, on the flip side though, while maybe Guillen and some injuries and guys that we thought were going to be impact players haven't been the big impacts. Has there been who's maybe some newcomers or like what's your story of like if you're having to say who's the breakout of maybe some of the newer guys that are on the team, who's on your list?
I mean, Arteaga has to be the top of the list, right? I mean,
pretty good. He's pretty good, Kenny.
That guy's pretty good at putting the ball in the back of the net. Yeah, I think that's an easy race for him. He takes first in that, no question. Trying to think of some of the other guys. I mean, he's not a new face, but Cal Jennings. Okay. Obviously, was the second year now.
Yep.
If I'm not mistaken. Yep. I think that's my UCF bias showing as well. But he's been great. Although I feel like he's been a little quiet as of late. I can't remember the last time he scored a goal. It's been a couple games. Wouldn't mind seeing him get back on the stat sheet there. But yeah, Arteaga has to be number one.
As we get to sorry, I just want to pop in for 1 second. While we get to the 14th minute, I do want to say with all these new people that have joined us, thank you so much for being here tonight. Unused substitutes, our boys Matt and Ben are here with RBLR, joining forces to hopefully raise awareness while the boys are out. A lot of people, including our home of Ao Lang, have been affected by these storms. So whatever your charity of choice is, please go donate directly to them. We've suggested some of the local American Red Cross, Metropolitan Ministries, Feeding Tampa Bay, and so on and so on. Guys, that money is going to go directly into our communities and the people that need it the most. Drop your receipts, though, guys. I want to see this. Like, if you're in the chat or if you're on social, like, let's go, big ballers. Let's go. If you have it and you drop it, let's go. Let's raise some money. But if you can't, at least share it, retweet it, get someone in your community and your sphere of influence to drop some dimes on our community. So sorry to cut you off there, boys.
Right. So number one, if we can get to that 300 before halftime, we're going to make Dan hop on the stream the second half. And I will tell you from experience, the one reason that we never did video the first 10 years or so of this podcast was Dan was like, I don't ever want anyone looking at me. So just think how uncomfortable we can make him.
I want to make him so uncomfortable.
Now I'm so want this to happen.
Yes.
I do as well. I'm probably going to tune in. I don't even care if I'm live. I'm going to have my laptop off to the side on the studio and just peek in.
We're coming for you, Dan.
If you're able to, you can. We know there's still people out there without power. That's why you're going to the watch parties, because there's AC and Wi-Fi, and we know. Like yes. I went across the state for the storm. Almost got killed by one of those giant tornadoes that came by. I've lived in Florida my entire life. I've never seen an actual tornado, let alone one that was within a mile of me. That was a little scary. Managed to get back on Friday and had power back on Saturday, but I know not everyone's that lucky. But if you can just retweet it, maybe someone else can go out there. Again, you're not donating money to us. It's not coming to us. We're not the people that you want doing that. But those are some good active local organizations that Yuri gets found and put the names out there. Dan got one too. go ahead and give to them if you can. The other thing I was going to say, and it's just short. I'm kind of flipping back and forth between looking at you guys and looking at the game. And Kenny was talking about trying to get Cal going. Yeah. Every time I flip over, it's a camera shot on Cal where it's like the pass was just a little bit too far. So they're actively trying to run the offense through him today, it looks like. So maybe we're going to get our chance to see Cal get up there on the screen.
Bender had a hell of a chance earlier. Yeah.
Ah, dang it.
Ben, I don't think we got to talk about this on the podcast, but like, I think the biggest difference from this year to last year has been the youth movement that's been running through. We just had our United States international player Nate Worth returned to us. He's on the bench tonight. But some of the youngsters, have you seen? Bender's in the lineup right now. He's a newest addition to this team. But how are you feeling about the youngsters that we have on the squad?
I mean, I love it, right? I mean, we've talked about it for years, and I mean, Neil was obviously, being the previous head coach, was first one really to like bring in the kids and at least get them on the bench, and even if it was for not important moments, he'd bring them in. And then this year, like, it seems like they really made a commitment to youth here, and Robbie hasn't just brought these guys on; he is giving them real minutes, real time, and really giving them the opportunity to play, which. It's a bold move, and I think it seems bolder to us because we don't see it as much. But I think in Europe, I think it's a much more common thing to do. And I like the fact that Robbie is bringing that element into the Rowdies, because we do have a lot of great young talent in the area, and to see these guys get good minutes. I mean, we understand. Look, they may not be here forever, but to get them on the field, get them play here. We know they played under us to develop with these teams. I mean, this is good for us. And it tells other young kids, because it didn't exist when I played around here. Hey, this is a possibility. I could really, if I really start developing, I could get a chance to play for the Rowdies while I'm in high school. Like, what an amazing opportunity that would be, right? And for a lot of people, if you see someone doing it, it almost is more believable that you can do it. So, man, it's been great. I think Nate Worth has looked fantastic. Ben Bender's been fantastic. I mean, trying to remember that the tall kid plays up top. I don't remember; it's escaping me at the moment because I want to say
Mustali.
Yeah, talk about
He's on the bench tonight too.
Yeah, I mean, the first time I saw him, I'm like, "Who is that?" And like, good Lord! I mean, he stood out. He was just like a man amongst boys out there for how tall he was, and I was like, "That's a kid!" Like, holy moly! So, but
I think the comment we made before was he's about half our age and twice our size.
No, this way, yeah.
In the good way.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I mean, I like it, right? I mean, that's something we've talked about for years. Matt, before I joined the podcast, you guys talked about. Eureka, I know you guys have talked about as well. It's like we wanted to see youth come into this program, and so not just talk about it, but really make it an active part of your squad and your plan. I think it's great, and I think it's good, and it shows how much this club has grown in the last 5 years.
Yeah, I don't know if we meant to do this, but we sort of had a primer for this. We had Jorge Ristov and Andres Arango on, who are both like instrumental in the youth programs, at least with like Florida Premier and such. And they're peppering the net if you're with the second screen experience. Rowdies are peppering the net right now. I got to update and see if I can maybe get some stats on here from FOTMob or whatever, but it's even possession, but we're things aren't getting on target, but they're just a centimeter away from being pretty explosive.
Yeah, the young Gabiri just almost had a perfect setup for a FIFA goal to Jennings, and it just pass was a little bit short and got cleared out. But if it had gotten to Cal, I'd still be screaming over here because it had been 1-0 easy. Keeper was way out of position on that one.
But about the kids, like not knowing that we were about to just have a whole youth movement, we bring these guys on, and it's sort of they're saying, hey, we're trying to strengthen this. We're trying to be a facilitator to the pro club, right? Yeah. And then we started seeing not only Premier, but a few of the other local youth programs in here promoting players to professional contracts. Guys, Christian Ortiz is a pro, started as a trialist, started as an academy, then signed an academy contract, and in the same calendar year is now a professional Tampa Bay Rowdy, right? Like full on. Mustali's on a pro contract. Worth eventually, but I think Worth sort of is part of this league wide initiative. All these guys really. We've seen some other USL clubs sell promising young people to European squads.
Yep.
I mean, technically, I don't know if we can count Sensi Castaneda, although it like I don't know if it's on paper he doesn't, but he played here and now he's in Europe, and there was a sale in the middle of that, and I don't know if we got money out of that, but nonetheless, he played here and now he plays in Germany, and you're gonna start maybe to hear we're gonna look back on this live stream 5 years from now. We're gonna say between Rivera and Worth and Mustali and one of these guys probably is going to be making a name for themselves for a name team that in Europe, right?
Thank you for reading my mind on that one, because I was just going to mention I couldn't remember his name. I just read this like 2 or 3 days ago, but there was a post online where he's playing for now in Germany. I think it's another second division German team.
Yeah,
talk the game, the shift that Castaneda put in, and I was like, I know that name. Very
Yeah.
cool. Like it's not it's not like he's out here scoring in the Champions League, but it's proof that there's a system in place, and if you can do it, it's out there for you.
Well, I hope it leads to more younger players, maybe international players from South American countries that are willing to send their youth to it just because it's not MLS or whatever. Like that doesn't make it any less of an opportunity for you to come into a first-class club like, say, Tampa Bay Rowdies, ply your trade, and then win a championship here for a couple of years, and then move on to Europe or back to South America or something, a bigger league in their eyes or something like that. Meanwhile, if we're winning championships, maybe we get a little bit of that sell-on fee to move on, and that's the sea of green. That's stars and money. How about that, guys?
Yeah,
I like it.
I'm going to assume that if they had gotten money for Castaneda, that's because that's something that you promote, you hype up, and we didn't really hear anything about that. So
Yeah,
if there was, maybe not a lot, but we'll see.
yeah. Per club details, we don't we don't talk about financials. Sure, buddy. Okay.
But that's the blueprint, right? Like, and if you want to see the game grow in the States, I mean, that's part of it, right? You got to see the youth development side. And it can't just be through the club ranks. It's got to be getting them into the professional ranks, getting the minutes, getting eyeballs on them, giving them a chance to see if they can even do it. I mean, that's how we grow the game. So I'm glad that it's not just MLS that's doing this. I'm glad to see USL really getting on board and picking up this talent as well. I mean, say what you want about MLS. I certainly have my thoughts as well. But making it an initiative to really bring in the youth is important for the game. And as flawed as MLS is, they've made a commitment to it. And to see USL do it, they're making commitment to it. I mean, it only betters the game as a whole in the United States. And as somebody who played here, there was no such thing as soccer all day, all day, all the weekend. We had one magazine you could subscribe to get the information, maybe check the newspaper and get some stats about what's happening in Europe. I mean, or you would order the best goals of the year from the Premier League. I mean, that was our only access to world soccer. So to see what it's become over the last 30 years is incredible. And I just want to see it keep going. What is that? So the spoiler, MLS Next Pro is going irritatingly efficient. Yes. Yeah. But I mean, and that's the problem, right? But we need it to grow. I mean, look, the more kids get time, the more kids know that they can be the next one, they can be the next star, they can be the next player. It only builds confidence for other young players. I mean, I think there were so many great players that I played with that maybe not me, but I mean, there's other guys I know that if they had the chance to go play with the Rowdies and even just be on the bench and get that experience of being in a pro environment, pro coaches, pro players, guys that are experienced, that know what it is to take care of their bodies. I mean, these kids today, if you go out to Florida Premier or TBU or these places, these kids are on meal plans. They've got full on exercise. Like, man, we were going to eating Wendy's after a game, at a tournament, and then going off and play the next one, go and get milkshakes. Like, oh, we know what we're doing. Like, we're fine. Like, there was none of that.
There's protein in the milkshakes. There's protein.
There you go.
Like,
Man, that was MLS 1.0. So
I was gonna say, yeah, that's
That
Generation Adidas, like right.
that
That's on
was
the menu, brother.
pre MLS. I mean, I'm back from NESL days. I'm watching the Rowdies back in the '80s days. Like, I'm like, Matt, we're that old, So it's like
let's not put that out there publicly. We know.
I don't know about this wee. I don't know about this wee. No.
But I mean, it's true though. It's like, like none of this stuff existed for me. Like, I'm glad to see like one or two of my friends played in the MLS. I mean, my buddy Bobby Boswell played for DC United, Rookie of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year, had a amazing career. But he's one of at least 5 guys that I know that were good enough to get to that point, but it didn't exist for us. So it's like, and he would even tell you in some ways he kind of got lucky, right place, right time, right team, right system. It's like it's so when you give kids a chance to get in here and get minutes in with actual professionals, it only betters it for everybody. So sorry, rant over.
No, you're good. In the comments, Nyongabiri is a kind of a hard word. If you're not used to spelling it or saying it every day. So no worries there, brother. In the game that we're watching, getting a little more chippy now in the 28th minute. We've seen spoiler thinks our boy Pacific or Wazzy took a dive. Maybe, who knows? Part of the game. But we've seen now aerial duels at midfield, guys. Aerial duels at midfield coming in here, guys. Like we're starting to chip this because, like Ben was saying, pretty split even teams. Well, here's your possession is 47-53 for North Carolina. Shots. Sorry, there was one that just got saved from a corner here. Shots, same. Shots on target. Both defenses have been stopping good chances or good opportunities from both teams, and that's why it's a bunch of zeros. But it's not telling the tale of this story. It's you got to get past the defense to get a shot on target, and neither team has quite been able to do it. But it's been a pretty eventful goose egg. Let's see.
Need him to do something because I got to show the highlights at 11. So
right,
give me a couple goals. I'm tired of showing highlights from the other team.
Yeah. So what do you do in this situation, right? Like, how do you tell that story? How do you go to WLFLA, right, and be like, guys, I know it was a 0-0. Okay, drop your memes about how soccer is boring and doesn't score any goals, but like, let me show you how these 90+ minutes were amazing.
Yeah, it's hard. So because like, for our sportscast, like I'm given a concrete amount of time, right? Like, so for the weekends here, my 6 and 11, I'm given 235. So it's not a ton. And in the grand scheme of things, and obviously right now it's college football season. So I got college football going on and we show all the teams, all the Florida teams, Florida State, Florida, Miami, UCF, USF. So you got to show those games. I got to show Lightning. They play today. And so like the Rowdies, I won't have them for the 6 because they'll still be going on. But for the 11, if it's a 0-0 match, thankfully, shout out to the Rowdies Twitter. I think, does Jake still handle that or who handles that?
Yep.
Yeah. Shout out to Jake. I usually just follow the Rowdies Twitter and any fans who are watching the game tweeting along to see what were the most, the best shots on goal, the best scoring opportunities, if you will, or maybe if, Jordan Farr had an incredible save or anything like that, or maybe a moment that it changed the game. Maybe, the Rowdies were, peppering the net, but all of a sudden somebody got a red card. So now they're down a man. And that's the difference maker in the match, right? Even if it's still 0-0. Because realistically, I give them like 25 to 30 seconds. So, if it's a 1-1 game, I showed 2 goals and that's it. That's pretty much all I have. So 0-0. Yeah. Oh, speaking of shot attempts, I'm guessing we just missed a shot attempt.
Yeah. Bodley is trying to cross into Jennings, and
I just got it.
Yeah. So it deflected. Doherty kicked it. Oh, it was Wazzy. Wazzy services in, and Jennings gets like, just gets it a little late, and it goes over the post.
Yeah. Like there's an example. A perfect example. Like I would probably show, if it ends up 0-0, I'd probably show that. If it's that close to being a goal, I'd probably show that attempt. Be like, they were that close.
I can imagine to like the average fan, it's got to be harder to explain a 0-0. I mean, the average fan's going to want to hear about goals, right? I mean, I think most people
Right.
excites them, right? And that's not always the case when it comes to soccer. So, how do you find it best to kind of convey a 0-0 to people? I mean, just by highlighting like those moments, is that really it, or
Highlighting those moments, and then you try to go look at the stat sheet because obviously, like I try to watch as much of the actual game in real time that I can.
sure?
But I'm limited in a certain aspect, because I've got multiple games going on. I'm trying to bring in highlights from this football game and that Lightning game. So yeah, if it's a 0-0, obviously show the two best moments of the match if it's close goals or whatever, and then looking at the stat sheet and see, did the Rowdies outshoot them by like a crazy amount? Was it like, wow, the Rowdies were on the doorstep throughout the game, but they just could never convert and finally produce? Or was it something, the flip side? Was it like, holy cow, the Rowdies back line was, a turnstile. Like guys were just running right by him, and Jordan Farr was a wall and had, 20, 30 saves or something crazy like that. That's kind of as best as I can explain the story with the limited amount of time that I have,
You ever get pushed back like they're the Rowdies, dude? Like, why are we putting
No,
30
no, you know
seconds?
what?
Why are you wasting 30 seconds on these guys?
No, I think what's really cool is, my boss here, Dan Lucas, he's big with the Rowdies. He loves soccer.
Yeah,
And he's a big Rowdies guy. So he always wants to show love to the Rowdies. And for me, I do as well. So I feel like I'm almost certain, because obviously most matches are on Wednesdays. Obviously you get an occasional weekday match, but I know for certain anytime they've played on the weekend, I've showed their highlights, unless it's one of those West Coast ones that's at like a 10 p.m. kickoff, in which case I can't show it. And no offense to folks in the morning, because we do morning sports as well, but it's my 11 p.m. recorded. I don't come back in the morning, and when you see me in the morning,
don't let them know that.
I know, cat's out of the bag. I don't come back after an 8-hour shift and a couple hours later and do the morning show. It's recorded, so I don't have the Rowdies highlights to show anybody. But like, those West Coast kickoffs, that's a couple of games a season.
Yeah.
Right. Have you guys noticed, if you've been watching the background, the digital ad boards in North Carolina are running Tampa Bay ads?
That's cool.
Are they really? That's really nice.
There was Hooters with 11 Tampa Bay locations. There was I see Hyatt Place. It's there it is, the Colony Grill ads. It's the pizza for Ralph's.
What about Cookie Mama?
There was a Cookie Mama corner kick.
There we go.
Or Cookie Fueled Mama corner.
Cookie Fueled Mama. That's it. Love it.
Which I guess it makes sense because the Rowdies have a contractual obligations to air some of these ads, and North Carolina doesn't
part of the package.
Yeah, that's true.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's
you miss it. It's only one frame. We've paid to have one frame of the ads for 1 millisecond, but it's money well spent. For the one day, there's going to be a screenshot, and it's going to be our frame on the board. And it's we're gonna, like, Morgan Tenza is gonna get this perfect shot of some action, and it's gonna be our frame. I remember, Matt, you it's a joint venture. Yeah.
Oh, Dan and I that was one of our jokes early on when we first started doing Patreon, was that we were going to take some money and find out how much an ad was. And this is before they even had the digital board. This is just like the printed, plastic sideline ones. And then we asked, and we said, we're going to figure out something else to do with the money.
No, I want, okay, we're going to have to pitch in and get one of those like sideways printed paint, like next to the goal where it looks like a sign.
I love those.
It's really just a flat thing. We're going to figure that out. It's just a QR code, and people are going to be like, what does this go to? And
I love it.
We'll buy advertising space around the scoreboard.
Yes,
like a sign that's a freestanding sign attached to the scoreboard.
There you go.
Freestanding. If you hit the sign,
I'm gonna drive a car by the fence gang fence.
You may know somebody on the inside who knows this place.
We can make this happen. Well, while we're talking about advertising, it's a good spot for me to say again, guys, because again, we have doubled our viewership since last time I've said this. So thank you for all of you trickling in. Keep retweeting this. Let's go, man. We still got about 60 something minutes of soccer to talk about. But if you're here, we are not asking for any money for buying t-shirts or whatever. Please, if you got money burning a hole in your pocket, please go directly to the American Red Cross or Metropolitan Ministries or Feeding Tampa Bay, or a number of the other things that people that are watching this right now have retweeted and kind of quoted us in as they're dropping their perfect choice of where you can go donate money. Please do that. Make sure that money gets to the people in our community that need it the most. So, yeah, keep that going, man. Let's see. But again, thank you. If you haven't been able to follow us before, if you are a first-time viewer, please, I've got up in the top here, follow Unused Substitutes Pod, follow RBLR Rowdies on IG or Twitter. We're everywhere. This is the first time we've kind of collaborated together on a live stream, but I know Matt and I have been like toying with this idea before Ben was even, I think, on the podcast. And you know, we're procrastinators, so here we are. But this is the perfect opportunity
I
to
would have
kind
never
of
got that from you guys. What?
Yeah, I think this started at about 11:30 the other night when I sent a DM to Ben and I'm like, hey,
yeah.
we should do that watch party thing we've talked about this weekend. And then it was a bunch of late night stuff like that, which is like, I think we had this whole thing planned and we're like, okay, now we got to wait about 9 or 10 hours to mention it because everyone else is in bed or doesn't have power still.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the other part too. So
this whole shit happened, and I didn't even see it until like halfway through.
You were in the chat, my guy. You were
Yeah.
in the chat, dude.
I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden, it's just. I'm like, oh,
We thought
All
you
right,
were sleeping, my guy. We thought you were out.
It's good with everything. Let's
as
go.
the only guy here who is actually paid in an IT department, my tech is the worst. Oh, it is not good.
Oh man.
All right, we got another cookie fueled
Cookie fueled mama corner kid.
Love
I love this.
it. Love it.
She is awesome too. I love her. She's giving me a freaking.
Hell yeah, them cookies are big as hell and they are awesome.
I might be biased, but she has given me a cookie or two, and they are always banging.
Oh,
I still gotta try
I mean,
one.
hey, I'm not
I haven't
hating.
had one yet.
I'm not hating.
They are.
But,
it is a meal in a cookie.
Nice. I like that. Hey fellas, I hate to say
No.
goodbye, but
No,
Kenny,
I,
thanks for coming
you're the
in.
man.
We love you, man. It's always good to see you.
no, thank you guys so much.
Absolutely.
Seriously, I appreciate y'all having me, and thank y'all for doing this. This is awesome, and thank you guys for what you do. Like, it's awesome that you guys cover the Rowdies and show them love. The Rowdies fan base, they deserve this kind of coverage, and you guys provide some great coverage. Keep up the good work, fellas.
Thanks, Kenny. Thanks, brother.
Thanks, Ken.
Sure,
Kenny,
Yeah.
appreciate
no problem, guys. Come on, you Rowdies.
All
you. Come
right.
on, you
Absolutely.
ready?
There he is.
Dude, I just want to say that was and for him to say, the club and the fans deserve the coverage. This is the guy that hit me up out of the blue a couple years ago and was like, "Hey, can I interview you about what this whole podcast thing you do is?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." Where do you want to do this? He's like, "Well, how far are you from Al Lang?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm about 45 minutes away." He's like, "Well, can you be here in about an hour?" And I'm, "Yeah, sure." So put that together, and that interview ran on when he was at Bay News 9, and he ran that a couple times. And Bay News 9, like, they kind of run the stories over and over to where I was getting, like, I was at work one day and someone's like, "Hey, I was at physical therapy yesterday and I heard this familiar voice coming from the TV in the waiting room. What were you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, it's a long story." Because I don't go around talking about my side hustles at work, like my hobbies. That's
Right.
the hobby is to get away from all of it, but
Right.
that's kind of cool. But I just want to say shout out to Kenny for coming and doing that. I appreciate it. He's getting right up against his schedule. He's also got that championship match against Trick Williams to prepare for in NXT. So he looks like Ethan Page.
He
does.
looks exactly like all ego Ethan Page, brother.
Right? I could see him as a wrestler too.
I should have made
totally-
him do that. I should have asked him, "Hey, Kenny, can you just do this for me real quick for the thumbnail?"
Oh,
Yeah, Kenny's
stuff.
Kenny's like Kenny's been a huge I guess support or whatever from day one with us. Yep. So like it's nothing but love, and it's good. Like, yeah, not to pat ourselves on the back too much, but I think this community absolutely deserves like multiple sources and multiple people that are all connected and collaborative, but and that at the key, we're building all of us are building the community of the most massive club in the world, guys. And so
Yes.
the most massive club in the world deserves all of us doing our best to spread it, share it, and contribute to it. So yeah.
I don't know if they deserve us specifically.
Well, I was
I
going
was
to
gonna say Ben's worth a lot, man. So yeah,
Well,
maybe they're getting more than they deserve, but you know, he's such a good guy that like he does it out of the love of his heart. I love it.
I did it for the page.
Yeah, I was so happy to see when Trinity got picked up by Channel 8, because I remember talking to him one of those games where I just bumped into him in the stands, and he was like, "Yeah, my contract at Bay News 9 is coming up, and doesn't look like I'm going to have a spot." And he was talking about moving out of the area, but trying to figure out a way to make sure he could come back at some point, because he loved being in the area, like he loved being in Tampa Bay. Yeah. So for him to, he went and worked with Hillsborough County Schools for a while, and then got the gig with Channel 8, which it's a great spot for him, and it's a great pickup for them too, in my opinion.
Yeah, and and if you think about, it's when the Rowdies first came back, we didn't get a lot of coverage. It was hard to get any media coverage whatsoever. We were getting aired in the news, we were getting anything in newspapers, and Kenny's definitely one of those guys. Amongst there's quite a few out there now who have been consistently supportive and show up for the team, and keep people current on what's going on around here. So, I mean, Kenny's just a great guy all around, but he's definitely, we're lucky to have him in the.
I'll be right back, boys.
For sure.
All right.
Corner kick time.
All right. Yeah, just another corner kick here. Perez takes it and cleared out by North Carolina. I got to tell you, it's kind of weird watching this, because every time I glance over, North Carolina's kind of got like those dark navy blue uniforms, but on my screen, I'm like, are we playing Louisville again?
Oh yeah, I guess it kind of does have that look to it.
Because it is kind of like a little purplish, especially when they're in that block of the field that's in the shade.
Yeah, I haven't been up there in a while. The fields look a little rough right now. I'm kind of surprised. Normally that pitch is
Yeah. I'm trying to think, did the Courage just play yesterday or today? I mean, it wouldn't have been today, because there must be something coming up. We're having a 5 p.m. game.
The groundskeeper in me is looking at that field, and I'm seeing cut lines. That's what I'm seeing, which is weird, because it looks like it's overgrown, and then they cut it down. And that's where you're seeing lines are.
Courage is playing today. It might not be a home game though. It's they're playing Bay FC at 10 p.m. That's got to be a West Coast game if they're kicking off at 10.
Yeah, I doubt they're playing there. Then there's no way.
Yeah, I say I hate to see that conditions for them on that field, because that's since they've been in existence, that's kind of been the headline team, the marquee team in that facility.
Yeah. I mean, and good on them too. I mean, I'm glad to see I'm glad to see NC back. I mean, it's good to have them back in the league.
Yeah.
Again, I think this is a good venue, and I want more East Coast teams anyways. I mean, I like what they bring.
Yeah, taking a look, and they, because this was kind of short notice, and I know they said it was free. It's a pretty decent crowd for a 5 p.m. game. I was going to say maybe not so much that you have the typical Wake Med 45-minute traffic line where people don't get in until halftime. I don't see the cars stretching out in the distance, at least. Yeah,
it does look a little light. It's only like the one side too.
Yeah.
Didn't it show up pretty good? I mean, am I misremembering seasons past? Didn't they have a pretty decent following?
They've had games in the past year. It's been pretty big, but it seems like, especially when they dropped down to League One, that I think that they lost some of those numbers, maybe.
Gotcha.
I haven't really watched a lot of their. I mean, I remember seeing games before, especially when like Austin Deleuze and some of those guys were still there, having very large crowds and a very long line to get into the stadium. But I don't think that's the case these days.
Just to pop in, apparently. So here's this is actually Lizzie, who you might know from the acclaimed RBLR Sun FC podcast.
Yes,
and she's saying the Courage are away. That's why.
Yeah.
There's that.
Yeah, I was looking online, saw that they were playing at 10 o'clock, and I was like, they're getting a doubleheader, but there's no way they're doing a 10 o'clock kickoff in North Carolina. Oh, I thought that was in.
Oh.
Was that Bodley? Or was that Jennings?
It was him and Jennings.
Oh. Even my kid started crying, and he's 3 rooms away.
You got 2 NC guys down on that one in the box.
They hit each other, sort of.
Yeah, both went Bodley with the head on the ball.
Ouch! Looks like he cut his shoulder.
Yeah,
to the face. To the face.
To the face.
And his name was John Cena.
Do you support the military? It's one of the best prank calls of all time. We got to figure something out.
A concussion check on him now.
I was gonna check the. All right, so we've had a little bit more stat update. 50-50 possession as we sit here in the 47th minute. 4 shots for the Rowdies, none on target. 2 shots for North Carolina, none on target. But chances, the Rowdies are being credited with a big opportunity, a big chance, and they missed it. It's probably that Jennings where he headed over the
in front of the goal.
But again, if you're just tuning in, this entire half has been exciting. It's been a lot of just near misses and just near opportunities to be shots on target. I'm trying to see if there's blocks and things like that, but 3 block shots for the Rowdies, 1 blocked shot for North Carolina.
And that's it. It's halftime, 0-0.
Yep. There's halftime. All right.
I didn't think it was a stop for far. I think it was the defender got in the way of the shot too. So
yeah. Only other game going on right now is almost over. It's in the 89th minute. Detroit City is leading Miami 2-0. Miami, to no one's surprise, is absolutely useless.
For all of us.
Yeah. So
that's early. That is a crazy early kickoff for them.
Yeah, I'm trying to see where this was at. I think this was in Detroit.
Good question.
Yeah. I don't know. You got every presidential candidate stopping by making speeches. Maybe they had to move up the game for security reasons or something.
Yeah.
Wouldn't surprise me.
All right. So while we're at half here, trying to think, I didn't have a big question because we are waiting on a couple more of our special guests to arrive tonight. Right. Full docket again. Shout out to Kenny for showing up and giving us more time than I expected. Man,
I know, right?
He's a trooper. He was in there, man.
You've been telling people like 5-10 minutes. We promise, quick, short, get you in, get you out. And Kenny said, job, man.
100%. He's the man.
Well, while we're waiting on our next one, I'm gonna go grab a drink real quick. I'll be right back.
Yeah, get out of here. All right, now that he's gone, Ben.
Yes, finally. Go.
No. Love him. So overall thoughts on the first half, man. I know I've been kind of prefacing it. I've been given this story, so I think everyone knows my opinion on it. But tell me I'm wrong or shade in the details.
No, I think we're spot on. It's everything we talked about, right? I mean, everything we talked about in the podcast early on. This is two very evenly matched teams, and it's proven. I mean, NC's had the chances. They've had the chances, so have we. I think the game is being one of the midfield right now. You're seeing a lot of the 50-50 duels right now. I think those are pretty even, and that's kind of what I expected to see in this game. I mean, it's really going to take who's going to break through. The second half is going to be interesting. I mean, if this game ends up in a 0-0 draw, I'm not going to be surprised. It's not what I want, but I mean, this could very easily happen when you've got 2 teams that are fighting it out for position the way they are. I mean, this has all the signs of doing that, but man, we are knocking that door right now. I mean, we've done everything but hit the post or get in the net. So I think it's coming. I think we're breaking them down. We're getting opportunities. If we can get that same hunger that we talked about this week, I think it's going to happen. The team looks angrier than they did last week. I like the fight that I'm seeing for the 50-50 balls. You're seeing good overlaps. You're seeing Arteaga get in on those balls over top. Jennings is definitely dragging the defenders out of place. I mean, I like what I see so far. This is good. This is a good test if we want to show that we belong here to do it. Oh, we're showing highlights right now.
I love it. Well, let's we have promised you special guests.
Oh,
We're gonna bring in another special guest, a contributor to Backheeled. You should subscribe right now. He is a man who is a co-host on the USL show. You should watch that. And I saw him. He got bribed with a Tampa Bay Rowdies jersey earlier this year, and he used to actually do some data work for them. That is the one and only. We're waiting for Matt to come back, but the one and only John Morrissey.
Hey, what's up, man?
Yeah.
USL
Hey, y'all.
Tactics, if you didn't know, on every social media. But yes, John. So we've been talking about a pretty tight contest here. But what were you expecting this game to be like, and has it delivered on that premise?
I mean, just given the context of the game for Tampa Bay, right? Like moving the location, everything with the hurricane, and given how the Rowdies have been playing as well, like you could have seen a universe where they looked a little flat. It's been the complete opposite. They've really controlled the match. And North Carolina doesn't typically let teams do that. They like to get in your face. They like to hold that high back line. I think Tampa Bay has done a good job of finding chances, kind of pushing them, forcing them to sit a little deeper. This is the most engaged I've seen Cal Jennings look in a minute. I think the way that they're kind of working inside out and finding Bodley on the left has been effective. Promising to see if you're a Rowdies fan, for my taste.
Yeah. Well, while I have people's attention again, we the thank you for spreading and you've retweeted this and we've seen an uptick in numbers. I wanted to make sure everyone is popping in here internationally, as we have Dave over in the UK, of course, saying you were talking about Jennings. He's hoping once Jennings gets that first goal, he's going to score a hat trick pretty quick. That, of course, I would love. And then, of course, on Instagram, come on, you Rowdies, fan from Scotland. So we are international audience right now for the most massive club in the world, John.
No denying it.
So we've seen a big midfield battle. We've seen both teams just a millimeter away from creating really dangerous chances. I'm not sure what you would think is maybe what the adjustments are at halftime. The Rowdies have an entire hockey lineup of players on the bench that they can bring in, with Leo and Rivera and Worth just sitting there waiting to get their shot in here. Is there one thing for each team that you think they might want to change or do differently in the second half?
I mean, I think it's probably the obvious answer that Leo coming on for either Perez or Bender feels like the thing that could put Tampa Bay over the top. Yeah. Given the way they've kind of controlled the match and found the opportunity to possess near the North Carolina goal, like Leo's the guy who can break them down and do dangerous things. North Carolina tends to be a little bit stingier with the substitutions. They don't have a ton of attacking options on the bench. I would probably look to Luis Perez. He's somebody who started for most of the year. Rodrigo da Costa kind of finding form, relegated him to the bench. Perez gives you a little bit more creativity, whereas da Costa kind of wants to push up to goal. Given that North Carolina doesn't really have a ton of a foothold and Tampa Bay is controlling play, I think Perez might be a nice addition to, I don't know, just steal them up down the middle where it counts a little bit. So, yeah, I think those would be the moves I'm looking for if this game kind of stays punchy, stays 0-0 for a bit longer.
So I'm going to get Matt in here. Matt, hey, there's John Morrissey of USL Tactics. How about that?
Matt, on mute. There we go.
He has no sound.
He muted himself, so I can't unmute him until he unmutes himself. There he is.
God, I could use that in my classroom.
Oh, I can imagine. So where John, I agree with you. I think bringing a Leo in, I think is a great move. The other move I would say, if things stay at a stalemate, I think I'd like to see Rivera step in for Bodley in about the 65th. If things stay the same, I think he has proven his worth coming in later in the game with his creativity and his ability to put things on net. I think he's proven he's very dangerous late in the game. So that might be the other move I'd love to see also in this game if things stay the same. Oh, we lost.
I think that's good. Yeah.
I'll be right back, guys.
What?
Hopefully he's going to make a quick $300 donation to force Dan to come on in the second half.
Yeah, we need Dan out of retirement immediately.
I keep trying, and he's like, no. I'm an adult now. I can't do these things. Such a bum. God,
He does less now than he used to. No, Dan does a ton of stuff up in New York, working with some of the charities and some of the groups helping.
EV New York, yeah.
I can't remember the name and the way to put it, like helping out with meals and stuff like that for people. So I can't knock that at all.
Nah, we love Dan. We just like to give him a hard time too. I mean, it's like a brother. Like, any of you guys out there have brothers, you know how it is. When you love someone, you give them what you got. I mean, that's just, I love Dan, so I got to give him.
It takes a lot of time for him to make pasta. Okay, so we gotta give him some time here.
Yeah, I mean, look at these standings. I mean, it's just wild to see how close, 5th through 11th is right now. I mean, I just have a short memory here, but I mean, is this the closest it's been this late in the year and the last few years, John?
It certainly feels like it. I think when they expanded the playoffs up to 8 teams, it really kind of made the bubble feel tight to the last day. I think we've still got 11 teams in the East that could potentially make the playoffs, if I'm counting right.
Yeah, all the way to 11th has a chance.
Basically, everybody but Miami. Speaking of Miami, let me hop in here real quick because I'm guessing they did this just because they knew we were doing a live stream and wanted to give us something to talk about. We have a goalkeeper goal in Detroit. Nate Steinwasser.
Steinwasser scored?
What?
Now, hold on. It was a penalty, but still.
Still, that's not any less shocking.
That's
I looked
cool.
away for 5 minutes and they let Nate Steinwasser take a penalty. That's unreal.
The tap that open and it flicked up to 3-0 at full time. Steinwasser 90+5 penalty.
Wow.
That's wild.
That is a move. I had to take the goalkeeper to do that. It's kind of shocking.
Have we seen a goalie goal penalty or not in USL? And when's the last time? I don't remember that ever happening.
Colin Shuttler for Orange County got an equalizer off a corner kick very beginning of this season.
If anyone's going to know that stat, Matt, we know it's John.
Yeah, I know. Come on, dude.
I act surprised as he answers the question.
Yeah.
There's been a goalie goal in Detroit.
Oh man, yeah. It's so funny. Like, we were looking at it during the weekend. It's just like, holy crap. I mean, there's a point or 3 points that separates 5th through 11th. It's just like it. It blows my mind how tight things are. It's funny, John. We got a question early on in the stream, and they were talking about should Robbie Nielsen be on the hot seat, and I said no. I said it's way too early. I think that'd be a knee-jerk reaction, especially since this is his first year in the league. He comes in with no prior knowledge, and minus the last few games, has really put out a really good season. I think it's only fair to give him at least another season to see how this team responds, regardless of where we end up this year. Be out of the playoffs, in the playoffs. It's how the team responds next year that I think dictates how you should feel. Do you have any thoughts on that by chance?
You look at the context of everything this year where Forrest Lasso has missed the vast majority of the year. There have been a lot of injuries across the board, really.
Yeah.
You're integrating a handful of new guys, and that shouldn't go under the radar. Like Pacific Nyongabire probably wasn't expected to be like a nailed-on starter.
Yeah,
it's easy to forget, like Ardiaga is still fairly new in the system.
Yep.
There's been a kind of patchwork quilt aspect to the roster that has made his job that much harder.
Sure. Yeah.
And Tampa Bay, if you look at the advanced numbers, like they're just as good as Lewis City. They're just as good as Sacramento.
Yep.
No, that hasn't borne out in the standings, but these things tend to regress to the mean at some point, whether that's next season and suddenly we look and say, the process was there all along, and now Tampa Bay is getting the results they probably deserved. I don't know. It just feels like Nielsen has done a lot of things right and pretty much hasn't caught a break for much of the year, for my taste.
Yeah, and I agree. And the other thing that I alluded to was, give him another year and let him get a chance to finally sign some more players that fit his system, right? It's not to say that this isn't his team. It is. But now give him a full off season to bring in a couple players that maybe work better within the confines of what he's trying to do. And I think we see this team only do better. Plus, the youth movement's been fantastic. I love the fact that, even under Neil, like we made a commitment to youth. Like this feels like the first year that we really have not just made a commitment, but putting them in real minutes, not just the last 5 minutes of a game, but really putting them in and giving them real starting opportunities, which I think has been really a big change in the club this year.
No, you think about Nate Worth, who obviously he's somebody with like U.S. youth national team experience. There were rumors even when he was at Tulsa that he could be like $1 million move type of guy.
Yeah.
But bringing him in, letting him get those real minutes for a team that can actually compete, that's a big deal. Christian Ortiz hasn't got a ton of time, but he's somebody who's got a couple cameos and has looked right. Signing Mustali and pretty much immediately making him a fixture on the bench and giving him those late game opportunities. That's going to be meaningful at some point when he grows up into a player that can actually do the thing week in and week out.
Right.
There's just a lot of things that I think Nielsen has done right to bring in aspects of his system, start to plan for the future, but not blow up the fact that you've got that DNA of the Collins Law era still in place.
Yeah.
I think it has to be gradual, and he's done the best he could with that context.
Yeah. Now, league wide though, if we broaden or we step back a bit, has that been more of a step in the right? Has the league taken a step in that direction as well as far as bringing in more youth? I'd be the first to say that I'm very focused on Rowdies. I don't pay attention to the league as well as I probably should. Has the league made a move? Have certain teams made more of a move towards the youth movement? Has that been a trend you guys have seen?
Yeah, I think across the board, it can vary from team to team.
Sure.
Even think about somebody like Miami, who's starting Sebastian Joseph and Lucas DePaula tonight. Like, those are guys I hadn't heard of. I think they're both teenagers. Don't quote me on that because I don't know Miami that well. But like, even a team like Miami is doing it. Sacramento gave real minutes to Chibuike Okegbu, who's now getting U.S. youth national team call-ups, and he wasn't expected to be a contributor.
Yeah.
Like, even the clubs that are competing have an openness to bringing guys up through the system, which is really the goal of kind of league-wide initiatives to support that effort for every single club. And when you see a team like Tampa Bay doing it, you're really making groundwork because they can trust those young players. They feel like their apparatus is doing the business. And I see a cat.
Yes, I knew it was going to happen at some point. That is Ebor is the name of the cat. Ebor's making his live stream debut here.
Oh,
So is Balin.
Oh, look at this. It's their time to shine. It is October.
You're doing black cats here.
I love it. Let's go.
my dog is like, screw you guys. I'm going to go lay in the bed when no one else
we
is
like
in there.
dogs too on this podcast. It's all good, man.
Oh, dog.
Yeah, mine just has no interest in playing around.
Really
Get
is
him on
Halloween season. This is great.
Perfectly on brand for cats to jump off. Let's see. Yeah, Tiny Panthers. Yes, look at that. Thank you, Liz.
Spooky season on the live stream.
Love it. But guys, I was gonna say, John, what do you should we be worried with this tight table? I mean, look, we might pull out a point. Hopefully we pull out 3 tonight. But there's a lot of teams with a lot of spots are up for grabs, but a lot of teams are going for those spots. I mean, is this gonna? You think this? And the Rowdies now having to change a date of Hartford from the 5th to the 23rd here, and playing what's going to end up being 4 matches in 8 days?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, have you seen that before? I mean, I'm sure there's something in this league that's happened, but to play,
I feel like we've done the season already, honestly.
we did have a pretty with the cup and things like that, but I mean, this is leagues where you need every point. Every point is sacred, Bonnie Python, and we need them. We need them all. So should I don't know how to say it other than like saying I'm kind of panicking here that we might 8 days from now we might be left holding the bag here.
I think the good thing for Tampa Bay is that they did a lot of the hard work already. Just by getting to 47 points already and knowing that, like Loudoun and Pittsburgh, they're playing tonight. One of those teams is going to get 1 or 0 points at least. Like, these teams are going to cannibalize themselves in a way where Tampa Bay, like fingers crossed, I'd bet my life on it, is in the playoffs. The seed could end up being uglier than you would hope, but at this point, like the big concern should be over, even if things go awry in the second half against North Carolina. So
yeah, I'll take
I
any
feel
ticket.
decent.
This year, I'll take any ticket.
Right.
With sort of the ups and downs and this slide that we're in now. Look, as long as we get into the, we had a European follower from Scotland mentioning that like they're a Hearts fan and they were like, we were in second and we were scared. Oh no,
John, you had to say it, didn't you? You had to say if things go awry.
That's the curse.
North Carolina.
Well,
minute.
He's one of the guys we knew could score here. Yeah. Yep.
I honestly thought he was offside.
Liz said it for all of us. Yeah, there it is. 4 letters.
Yeah.
A million things. So I'm trying to watch the replay here. It's just a deep ball. Oh, look at Kleeman. Guy got past Kleeman, and Doherty's doing his best.
I think, I mean,
wait, hold. So it's a 1-on-1.
Oh no!
Far comes out to push it wide, but like,
yeah,
it goes off the inside of his leg.
Yeah. Huh.
Gosh. It always surprises me, and I mean, not whatever to turn making situation whatever. Jordan is so much faster than I feel like he found an extra gear somewhere the last year or two, because I forget how quick he is sometimes, because he doesn't run like a sprinter, right? Like he runs like he's angry at the ground, but boy, he can move. Like he can keep up with just about anybody in this league, and every time I see it, I'm like, oh yeah, of course he can do that. But like, even there, like catching up to Anderson, that's no joke. Like that's one of the fastest guys.
Anderson is like the best transitional threat in the league because he's lightning quick. Like,
exactly.
That's
like his first 3 steps are so quick. So to be able to catch him on the long, I mean, that's just, I don't know. I guess trying to find a positive in that.
It's what you had to be afraid of, knowing about the Anderson versus Freddie matchup there, but you hate to see it play out.
The same would be said even if it was Forrest, though. I mean, the Forrest strength is not speed, sure. Like his strength is being in the right position to not allow him to get by. So, I mean, no, whatever. I mean, but I predicted this on the pod, so I'm going to remain positive.
You did say that. You did say that.
North Carolina was going to score first, and then we were going to come from behind and win. So, as of right now, my prediction is still standing true, so I still feel good about this.
As the lone, I thought we were only pulling one out of this one. So,
no, but look, we talked about it after last game. The thing that we missed in Louisville was that aggression, right? That anger, that passion that we did not see from the Rowdies, either against Louisville or the 3 games before that. Like, well, now's your chance to show how mad you were. I mean, like put that aggression into the field. Make that extra step for that pass. Run a little harder for that long ball. I mean, like right here. Here's a good moment. Woo, could have been. I mean, now's the time to. I mean, you want to be in the
cookie fueled mama corner kick.
You've got to fight.
I popped John on that one. That was good.
I love when you get a weird corner kick sponsor.
Oh, it's the best.
Monterey does a bagel corner kick.
Oh, love it.
Yeah, which is great.
Earlier I said, oh, that's a foul. Earlier I said, John, that like between unsubs and us at RBLR, we're gonna pay to have one frame of the boards.
Yeah,
we're gonna pay to one frame, and we'll have to have a photographer snapping in super high speed to catch, and we'll just repost that picture as many times as we can to be like, oh yeah, we had an ad there. Of course we did.
That's
subliminal advertising.
Yeah, subliminally just one flip.
I might know the guy that makes those, so
okay. Yeah.
It happens. That's all I'm saying.
Like, you think it's the Colony Grill, but in reality, you're subliminally being primed to
every half second.
follow unsubs and us.
Not following the grill. It's crossover watch party.
Guys, I'm really hungry for a Big Mac right now. I don't know why. You're a vegetarian. I know, but I really want a Big Mac right now. All right. We got a free kick.
Dang it.
Nope.
Fudgerama. Okay. Sorry, it's coming. It's coming. I'm just
guys.
I trust the process.
Yeah.
Patience is not one of my strong suits.
Well,
right
I guess
either.
I get Ben brought up a good point, and there might be some of the viewers here, which thank you for all of you who have been tuning in this entire time, guys. Maybe some other teams around, maybe on we like. I don't think anyone really pays it. The Western Conference might not be real to us. They keep trotting out teams, but I don't know. This might be like it's a simulation, but is there? If not on the eastern side, maybe on the western side, is there a team that's been climbing that's been so we were talking about Detroit earlier is on a good run right now on the east, but is there another kind of fast climber on the west or someone that's been surprising in the USL that you'd say is a surprise?
I think in recent weeks, Orange County has been a team to watch. They've had a crazy year, honestly. They were in second place as late as July.
Yeah.
Morten Carlson leaves, they fall out of the playoff picture.
They had an open letter to their fans, if I remember.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Or owners, sorry.
Right, yeah. Right,
and that's never a sign that things are going good.
Yeah.
No. But at that point, they bring in Danny Stone, who was fired by Phoenix earlier in the year.
Yeah.
And they've kind of just simplified things. Early in the season, they were too reliant on just point to Kyle Scott in the midfield and say, do something. They feel like they've got a more diverse attack. They've got a couple guys healthy in defense, which has made all the difference for them. They're climbing up the table quickly. I don't think they're going to have a dark horse run like they did when they won the title in 21, but they're a team that could
I don't remember that happening. I don't remember anything about that.
When did they win the championship? I don't remember that. That.
Yeah, no, that was fake anyway. I made that up. But.
It's not real. Yeah.
That didn't happen.
Any game where I am deliberately taunted by one of the players on the opposition team does not count as an actual game. That's the rule.
Sorry, John. We interrupted your train of thought there. But
no, all good.
I mean, that's wild because Danny Stone you could write a book about just what was going on in Phoenix. And, it looks like he landed on it with his feet firmly planted in Orange County, which there's a rivalry now if it wasn't one before.
And I will say Phoenix, for as unhappy as that fan base continues to be, actually has looked quite good. They made a couple mid-season signings. Thomas Angel on loan from LA, an international from, I think, Curacao, Jero Margarita, who's fast as lightning and killer on the dribble. Well, I mean, Charlie Dennis, let me not fail to mention that one. But those three players in particular have made Phoenix look a whole lot better. So kind of anything can happen at the bottom there for the Western Conference.
Speaking of Orange County, here's Andy.
Speaking of Orange County, and then we got
what up, Andy?
Beetlejuiced him, yeah.
Love it. I love he's on the stream. This is great, man. And just sorry to pop in again at regular intervals to say we've had even more people joining us since last time we talked. But just in time. Here we go. Love it, Andy. We are asking for our international and coast to coast American audience right now to please, if you have the ability to, we are asking that you donate directly to. We've suggested American Red Cross or the Tampa Bay Metropolitan Ministries or Feeding Tampa Bay, among others that have been retweeted in our Rowdies community here. Whatever your choice is, please donate directly to them and then drop the receipts. Let's go. Cox is adding them up. We are trying to make Dan Indonino very uncomfortable by having to drag him on video. That is our prize. So you can do two things. You can help your community and make Dan Indonino very, very, very uncomfortable, which is that's helping the community out tenfold if we can do that. So.
It's surprisingly easy, which is what's great about it.
Yes. So all jokes aside, though, please, we are coming together, the Unused Substitutes and RBLR Rowdies, coming together for a great cause and bringing in special guests of the USL show and backheeled. We had sports anchor Kenny Morales earlier in the first half. And who knows? We might get Robbie Nielsen wherever he is bunkered right now. He might join the show later on. No, probably not going to do that one. But we appreciate all of you. And of course, all of your retweets, all of your replies have been awesome. All the comments we've been getting, all except for the one from Andy. They've all been amazing and awesome. So, so
look, I think our chances of getting Robbie depends on whether or not he gets another red card.
He could be. Hey, I'm just saying it. The night is young. The night is young.
Also, we've had 2 substitutions in the meantime. So
here we go.
Yep.
Sustamo and Leo have come on for Bender and Perez. So John, it looks like you were almost like you know what you're talking about. Well done. Well done. I think those are 2 good changes. I think they add a little bit different of a dynamic to the team. And we'll see. We'll see what happens here.
No, I love it. So this was the of course, another John Morrissey prediction coming true immediately. We get our former MVP on the pitch. I'm hoping that it opens up some things and a little bit more creativity, or at least,
yes.
Not that Perez doesn't have the same skill, but now you have a different body type, you have a different skill set up top. Yep. That's hopefully able to penetrate the back 3 there.
Well, something we've talked about is, this game's going to be one of the midfield, and I think bringing on Leo Fernandez is going to give you some more creativity, some more possession, and be willing to be a little riskier with some of the passes with the ball. He can do things that maybe Bender can't. So I think this is a good move to try and kind of push your agenda a little more as the minutes tick on here.
Speaking of Leo lining up,
I think I am going to pop out in a minute here because I've got 12 games to cover today, which is
how
miserable.
do you do this, dude? How do you do this?
I really cover 1, John. I don't know how,
brother. I'm like
a lot of caffeine. I'll tell you that.
I am ready. Like my morning, it's like my morning cappuccino, and then I'm ready for USL Tactics to drop knowledge on either a win or sometimes, unfortunately, a loss. But either, here's a shot. Either way, it's always good insight. Please, I suggest if you're one of the hundreds of people in this live stream and you do not follow USL Tactics, which I think is very, very low of an amount. But if you're one of those people, which maybe one, you should do that. John Morrissey is unrivaled with his output, if not his passion, for all of the content, and so. Whether or not he's hiring me as his PR guy, I'm going to do it and say that you should do this, and it's worth your time and your money if you so choose to donate to his Backheeled and USL Tactics website. It's all worth it. It's all good.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
you guys are doing awesome work today. So, hey, if you're watching this, donate, do everything you can for it.
Let's go,
John. You're the man. We appreciate you, man.
All right, thank you guys. Talk to you soon.
See you, buddy.
See you, John.
Yeah, I mean, like John, like we sit here, we talk about the game, we break down Rowdies, but I mean, like we know this game pretty intimately, and like he breaks it down so much better and really in digestible bites, and just explains with video, with reference. So I mean, if you're somebody who's trying to get into this league or you want to introduce somebody to this league, go follow John. I mean, he's such a great follow. I mean, on top of being a great guy, he's a fantastic follow.
If you're talking about accounts that do very impressive things, there's there's art but make it sports, and then very close behind there's USL Tactics. Like 12 game recaps with screenshots, tactical deep dives.
Like
everything.
we have John on regularly to talk, and with him and James Knowles, who I wish was here tonight, but like with him and James are just going off the deep end into tactics and things like that. It is, I just see the equations and the numbers and things going on the screen.
It's like a beautiful line. Stuff is like happening on the walls everywhere.
Yeah, dude, you get smarter by osmosis just by listening to John talk about soccer. So I love it, and good on him for being able to be here.
Yeah, that was huge, man. We appreciate him.
Yeah, I think I hit him like right after we started putting the idea for this together. I think I sent him a DM and around like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, and I was like, he'll get back to me tomorrow. 5 minutes.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm in. What are we doing? I'm like, well, actually, we're doing this. He's like, oh, wow.
All right.
If you're 12 teams, you pretty much are running 20-hour days at that point.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm in the 64th minute on my stream.
Same.
I have lost the game on my stream.
Yeah, mine's cut out a couple times, but refreshed it. It's come back.
So I'm hoping for all of you in the chat, if you've been watching, if we've been your second screen experience, I guess now is a good time to kind of say, what are your thoughts going on, guys? We've brought in special guests. We've been jaw-jacking here for almost 2 hours now. Your thoughts, though. This is a two-way street. Get in there if you're on Twitter, if you're on YouTube, if you're on Instagram. Let's get your opinions so I can bring them up on screen if you are. But yeah, and also thanks to we've had a lot of support from our UK followers and Ford Madison UK, my man. Thank you. Says good luck, Rowdies. We love you guys. Best. I mean, there's some good branding in the other leagues of USL, but I kind of think Ford Madison is the best.
Uniforms.
I think Ford Madison is the best branding.
I've got 1 or 2 jerseys of theirs in my closet.
I gotta get a kit. Yeah, I gotta get a
kit.
For
real.
Yeah.
Yeah, we dig it. I mean, I love our ugly. I say ugly with a good. I love our green and gold. But like sometimes you want to put that pink and baby blue on, man. And they got killer. And they're flamingos. I mean, come on, we're in Florida.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, it's so good. It's so good. Like we're a very traditional jersey.
Giant flamingo in the airport. Let's go.
I know. See, like it's Alta might be AV Alta might be a contender. The San Francisco City with the Muni, they got their like trolley tram system as like their they did a kit that was inspired by like the brown and yellow uniforms of the tram people in like the 70s. It's killer. As a tram nerd, as a trolley nerd, I'm down with that too.
I officially have to look this up. What is it again?
It's giving me Colorado Caribou's feelings.
The Caribou. If we could bring that back for one game, please. That'd be great. Well, so San Francisco City, I don't know. Yeah, of course. Well, Ryko, of course, is in. Yeah, it's true. Brent Arozarena connection to Ford Madison. Of course, pipeline is strong. Yeah, San Francisco City. I'd have to Google it real quick to see what league they play in, but they had a run of kits last season or this season that were just on fire, and their logo. Not Brent. Sorry, yeah, I read it, but the Muni logo is like a retro looking sort of up and down. It almost at first I didn't know what the hell it said until I had to piece it together, but it's the logo for their tram system. It's their like local, awesome. People moving service, and it's like I love it. Because I love. There's a kit I have from Napa Valley 1891, I think is the name, Napa Valley FC, and their sponsor is like a tortilla chip company from that area. It's the best. And there's like a winery on the back, and it's like Merlot. It's great. As a wine, I'm also into.
So I need the El Farolito kit, the burrito shop that's always in the open cup.
Hell yes, that's what I'm talking about.
I would absolutely do one of those.
Yeah.
Forgive me if I go offline. My cat has decided now's the time to attack me.
Oh, get him!
Get him! Going after everything.
Get it. That is good cat behavior.
If the cat knocks you off,
they are League 2. Yeah, that's right, Andy. You're right. Well, dude,
see,
there's
when in doubt, when in doubt, just claim someone plays in League 2 because there's like 300 teams.
Well, that's true. So, well, like Vermont Green, I think also has good branding. Hearts of Pine, whenever they show up, like already, Hearts of Pine is like Portland. Hearts of Pine is killing it. Up cross to nowhere.
Yeah.
Oh.
Lewis Hilton not very happy with that one. It looks like.
Yeah. Update on the stats. We've had more possession this half. Obviously, we're trying to after a concession, we're trying to push it a little harder. 7 shots. Now we're getting to the point where 1 shot on target. While North Carolina only has 1 shot on target, we need to put one in the net. So, haven't created none. Sorry, yeah. But we've had 5 corners to 2 corners. We've had 7 total shots to 3 shots. Yeah, it's been, other than putting a ball in the net, it's been a pretty even match again, just like Mr. Wilcox said. So,
any changes you guys would make at this point? I mean, I know we've got the 2 so far, but
yeah, we haven't been. I mean, they've been trying to cross from into the box. I think a Damian Rivera switch where his sort of a blunt force object just running right. Boy. Oh no! Come on, Claret.
2-0.
Guys, do we need to talk about how far is coming out of?
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to do that, but this is now. It's a repeat now. This is the. I'm panicking on live stream here, but this is twice now that he's been in that position in that breakout in the middle of the pitch, and especially playing that high of a line. Like here, they're showing the replay now on.
I feel like he needs to come up though and play that right, but I wish he did more with it.
So they're sitting around waiting for a call on that Hilton, and then Farr just come.
Like you got to clear that. You can't place that ball out though. You've got to clear it. You got to clear it. It looks like
it looks like he gets a foot to it, but it's right back into the path of the North Carolina player.
Yeah. Well.
Well,
you know what?
Cronulla.
I've been staring at this all, and I haven't even changed it because I'm still in shock from the first one. What's the
really?
Well,
and now it's silent.
Out of the live stream right there.
But I mean, look. Come on, Manu. Just fight. I mean, but look, now's the time to fight. Fight. Get angry. I mean, like we have the people in the middle of the field, the whole possession. That's where this game's going to be won, in the trenches. It's a quick turnover in the middle, and then look what happens. It's super fast.
Yeah. Rivera coming on for Rivera and Manjoma coming on, Kleeman coming off, and I didn't see who the second one was.
So you're putting what? Doherty in the middle, Manjoma on the wing, Rivera up top?
I think you're going to play almost a 2-man back at that point.
Sure. Well, then they're going to put another one in the net.
I mean,
think about it. If you don't play a back line, they can't get burnt by the attackers.
Well, I mean, you lose by 2 or you lose by 5. At that point, who cares? I mean, you just
I mean,
Yeah, it seems like they got Aaron playing in the middle.
Come on.
Let's go, fellas.
Ooh, almost an own goal.
Ooh. Hey, but you know what? Look, you got to do it. You got to put the ball in dangerous areas. You just have to.
Man, you got make something happen somehow. Man.
All right. Well.
Yeah,
I wonder. So it looked like they moved.
Yeah, I think that's a great hieroglyphic there, Liz. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a great tactical change that they
What
can
are you
make.
doing, man?
Ooh, go.
Cross.
Oh, okay. That's no call.
That was, but on us.
All right. Well, good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah. So where did they move Manjoma to? If they moved Guillen to the center, they still got Jordan on the right.
Yeah.
But it looked like Manjoma's getting high. So it's like, did they bring somebody else back? Did they move Bodley back maybe?
Looks like a few of the guys are getting high.
You know, after a game like this, I kind of want to also.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Yeah.
Well,
yeah, me
it's gonna be
too.
one of those weeks where we need a couple teams to drop some points to make sure we get a playoff spot, I think.
So this has happened this year too, where we've been in a position where we don't come out with points, but other teams kind of do some work for us.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah, Manjoma's on the right. Jordy's in the middle. Okay, yeah, so it's like you thought. They pulled Jordy in the middle. It's like a 3-2-3-1.
Yeah, I can't do that. That's gonna be a little too ugly.
All right. Oh man, they're gonna park the bus now. Oh yeah, look at they're all back. Well, as much as I love us having to break down a 11-man defense, I agree, kid. I feel the same way right now.
Yep. My diaper's also full.
Microlumen. All right. Well, I mean, that's kind of the subs I would have made. I'm just trying to think. We still have one more, correct? If I remember correctly.
Yeah, one more sub, one more window.
Yeah. So, God, I'm trying to think. And who do we have on the bench? Let's take a look here. We've got we got Worth, Mustali, Aiken. Ooh, I don't know of those three. That's a tough one.
Cookie corner.
Hey, Cookie Fuel. Again,
right
go get those cookie guys. They're really good.
We all need naps.
Seriously.
I mean, I took it before we did this, so I am like, I know some people are like anti-naps. I am very
for another one.
I am team nap. I mean, very much so. I am very team
nap. Oh boy, and there's Far almost to midfield again.
What are we doing there?
Well, we have no defender.
But that's not Far. That's Ian. I mean, putting him in a horrible position.
I don't think it was a bad turnover. Everyone's just out of position at that point.
Thing is, we have to be fast in the transitions. The only way we're going to get our numbers even remotely close to having an advantage, more chance.
Not now, Andy. Read the room.
Come on, boys. Come on. Everything can be a cross.
Yeah.
It's one-dimensional dropping the ball in. Oof. All right, well. Like I said, I think it's going to have to come off the counter. We're going to have to let them stretch the field and just press them fast. It's the only way that we're going to get numbers where we can break them down.
If only we had a Lucky M. Casano to come in at the 77 minute.
Oh, right? Oh.
That's we haven't had that. You know, that like we were I was talking about maybe Rivera coming in and kind of being an instant offense, and then they gave up a goal.
Because
He is. I mean, like usually he's a lightning bolt.
Yeah, I mean, he almost scored last week when we were in the same position against, or a couple weeks ago against Rhode Island, right?
Well, and he almost forced that goal.
Yeah. I mean, he went off the crossbar.
Now you want to talk about someone taking?
Okay, that's not good.
There's a dive when you get pushed in the chest.
Super dive, dude. That dude took a flat back worthy of all elite wrestling.
But I mean, I get it. I mean, in the heat of those moments, like you got to walk away, and he stayed right there in the mix of it all.
Yeah. Oh, okay, cool, buddy.
I didn't know that in North Carolina red cards were used for dives.
I mean, you have to be smart enough to walk away.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see the replay here, guys. No replay yet.
Two hands to the chest, and the guy has got his face in his hands before he even hits the ground.
Yeah, like I didn't know feelings could hurt your face.
Reminds me a lot of I can't remember the guy's name, which probably because I don't want to think of his name. The Red Bull 2 player that did that in the playoffs and got one of the Rowdies sent off. While he kept peeking up to see if the card had been given yet before he jumped up. Totally
Wasn't that Lauro? No, that wasn't Lauro. Who was that?
No, but Lauro was in that game, and Lauro came running out from the goal to tell the guy to calm his crap down because he was being very obvious about what he was doing.
Right.
So here's another 4 minutes wasted.
Yeah.
Cool. We showed the red card guy in the stands. Oh, there's a few. They have a. There's a wow. There's a whole section.
That's like a whole supporters group right there.
A half.
I blame this on concessions. If they had concessions at the game, this would be.
Looks like he's got a reverse. Get a yellow side on the reverse too. They're prepared for everything.
There you go.
But again, if Nigberry walks away, this isn't happening. I just
don't put it in a position where you got to.
If the season's over, we're not trying to fight for a playoff spot. Like if all these things are happening, okay. I get mad. You get your red card at the end of the season. Who cares? Fine, done. They're washed away at the end of the year. But man, you know what we're playing for right now.
Yeah. Yeah, guys are chiming in the comments. There was a question. There was a question I didn't want to get to, but so Andy of course drops a good question about how's Farr been, and I know Matt you did put something in the comments, but having to play him tonight. I mean, with in the I'm trying not to just blame him immediately, but
for Lewis Hilton, by the way.
Like how
he was one I questioned about coming off.
The guys go on a breakaway. They North Carolina goes on a breakaway. The second one they were all standing around waiting for a call on Lewis Hilton that never came. So they're out of position, kind of raising their hands and in a weird, they're caught off that. But Jordan Farr 2 shots around his foot 2 times on a breakaway where he is way outside of the penalty box.
Yeah.
And he's sort of, I think this is one of the reasons that he got benched is because he's, you want him to be close to the fire, I guess, but at the same time, maybe he can create some chances, but when they're already at midfield and he's at midfield and they make one through ball and he's 2 centimeters away from a guy and teams have routinely gone around him or up and over him or through him. I mean, I think it's clear what my opinion is on it, but do you guys want to talk me off the ledge here about Farr kind of playing way out of position too many times this year?
I think I think the first one, he's unfortunate that the one goes off the inside of his leg goes in the goal because it was going wide. That's unfortunate. It happens. He's got to come out for the ball. The second one, I don't give him as much leeway on because in that bowl, at that moment, don't be cute. Clear the ball. I think if he gets under it, gets
Right.
his pitching wedge out and knocks it deep, wherever the hell, even if it only goes 20 yards,
Yeah.
fine. Up, get it out.
Our commenter Gym Class Hero here agrees with you here. Like far, but you need to kick it as far as you can in that situation.
Yeah, I mean, you have.
Yeah, I'm okay with making a mistake, but you got to learn from it too.
Yeah,
and that's like he makes the same mistake. It seems like when he comes out like this.
But he has made a number of other great saves to the full picture. He has made a lot of great saves. He's made the tough players.
Yeah.
Like he hasn't played bad this game. He's just been unfortunate and knocked out. That first one, I just think it's unlucky the way it goes off of him. And the second one, yeah, I say that one's kind of on him. But at the same time, I mean, when you're the last defender, so you cannot let him by that freely. You just can't. He's a threat. He's a problem. I remember playing, and even as I was going through some coaching courses, you have to put your body between the player and your goal. So he has to at least go through you or around you. That creates at least 4 steps he has to make to get around you. Even if his 4 steps are fast, he has to play around you or through you. He's not going through you. That's number 1 rule. And 2, if he's got to go around you, that gives your other players a chance to get back. So there's an onus there on the defense as well to play better. But still, that second goal, he should have done more. You clear that ball. Look, if it goes off the player and it goes in like it did last week, fine. I'm sorry, Rhode Island, fine. It happens. But man, you got to do more than just a light touch, like you're trying to pass it to your other defender.
It stinks that this is an away game, because this is the question that I'd be asking Robbie Nielsen. It is exactly what Andy's saying. Is he just playing as he's been coached, though? This is the question that I would want to ask Robbie, is at what point do we change the tactic where we let Jordan Farr, I get he's a sweeper. I get that he makes some good things, but he hasn't created many goals to offset the numerous now goals that has been given up by him being 30 yards away from the goal. This was a problem that we had with Raiko Rosarena at times. It's when you're in the net, you're great. You make great saves. You make great, trust me, he's kept us in a lot of games. However, it does, to me, on the whole, it doesn't make up for these instances where now it's been a number of games. Yeah, exact. I know. I mean, good on you guys. Good is all I gotta say. This is has at least been 15 minutes of an Orange County podcast. We brought up Orange County 4 times. I love it.
You're not in our heads. You're not in our heads.
I know. You're not living in our heads, referee. Jordan Scarlett. So but it's just Farr is good. Farr is good. Don't get me wrong. I know who I'm talking about here. It's just these specific. Sure, if Robbie Nielsen is fly as far as you want upfield and just touch it with your toes. Don't then we have a Robbie Nielsen problem. But it's a fine line of telling him, okay, you want to be free and do that, and then
But is that Nielsen or is that?
I still put it on the player, man.
I don't think Dobson would be coaching him that way. I mean, we haven't seen any of our other goalies play that way. I can't imagine anything's changed.
And unfortunately,
Lord help us, it's a 4-on-1.
I don't think was Matt. You might tell me. Oh, he's got to put his headphones on. Here, I'll get him out of here. There he is. All right. Was it Loro? Andy King's asking that Loro was playing high and just got torched. I don't remember Loro getting out of net that often.
No, because
Raiko seems to be
4'7". He's not coming out there.
Did CJ Cochran play that high? I don't remember CJ.
He could have. I don't remember Raiko coming out that much.
Yeah. I gotta change the score bug here. My Photoshop crashed on me while I'm trying to update it. Ugh. will be nothing if not accurate, at least as we die these final minutes. Ugh.
So we'll be
What a
accurate, unlike Hub GPS.
Well, yeah, here. Let's do this. Let me at least see what I can do to make this a little better. FOTMOB must have changed how they do their scaling or something, because I used to be able to kind of just clip their stat and throw it on the screen for us. But that hasn't worked.
Side note, we've got to do more of these set pieces. They have been awful today.
Yeah.
They have just not been
They
good.
haven't been the bane of our existence, though.
No.
Today.
Normally, in years past, they've been awful, but I
There's
mean,
a positive, right?
have not been great though. I mean, come on, let's just, for morale, for us, the fans. What the heck just happened there?
Let's see if I can. Oh, I don't want to lose Maddie. Let's see if I can.
Oh, this is always fun. Thank you, Blake, for getting back. All right, I'll pull forward. Okay, or not. Man, we're gonna play possession. Dang it.
There we go. There we go. That's better. So we'll at least have the stupid score bug with the right score, because as much of a damper as this is, I think it's also important to remind ourselves why we are here, why we are joining forces, why we have unused substitutes and RBLR joining forces with literally hundreds and hundreds of people watching this right now. I really do thank you from the bottom of my heart. I think I can speak for us all when we say we really appreciate your time. As we bring awareness to our area, as we bring awareness to all of the people that, as much as this is as this sucks to be down 2-0, some of us in this area have been without power and internet and just little creature comforts that we all come with here. If not actual structural damage to things that cars and houses and trees and whatnot. So if not you, then maybe someone you love or friends and other things that have been affected by this. So I ask that you reach into your pocket and you donate directly to funds like the American Red Cross or Metropolitan Ministries or Feeding Tampa Bay or any one of the awesome local charities in this area in Tampa Bay, both in Pinellas, Hillsborough, Polk, all of our counties that have been affected, as well as down south in Bradenton and even farther south as they've been hit with the storm surge and all those things. Thankfully there is an IMG Academy in Bradenton that we can go play, because one or two miles away from that storm, and we might be saying differently, but please, let's keep in mind that as much as this sucks, this is our break away from reality, which has sucked even more for all of our friends, family,
So I packed up and left on Monday when they did the Zone A evacuations down here, and I was going to go. I learned from whatever the one was last year. Was it Irma or something? That
the big one.
You go tens of miles, you don't go hundreds. So I was going to go to a friend's house nearby, but they're in Zone B, and then before I could even get out of the house, they had upped the evacuation to Zone B, and as strong as that one storm was, I wasn't going to play around with it. So we went to the other side of the state, and I left my car here. I left pretty much all my stuff. I just moved into this place over the summer. So I don't, there's no boarding up windows or anything like that. And I was not sure what I was coming back to, because at one point, I think like Tuesday or Wednesday morning, the track was coming literally right over my house for the eye. And it was just like, it's concrete block, but still.
Well, and I'm with you. So we did a lot of flooding around here. It's why I got out the Monday before the hurricane. I'd hang around. Helene knocked my power out, water, all that stuff out for 4 days. I slept in my car for 4 days with my animals. I wasn't doing that again with Milton. I jetted out to North Carolina. I got out for a whole week. I was like, everything's shut down. I was like, I got to go. And I'm glad I did. But I mean, I've got friends here that, they lost their apartments. They lost all their stuff, their cars, and they're still getting crap out of their house. Or I have a number of friends that just finished digging all this stuff out of their house, and then Milton came. So their stuff's and then there's another hurricane on top of it. So it's like, yeah, I mean, it sucks that we're losing 2-0, but big picture, I mean, I'm glad I can watch the team. I'm glad I can be sitting here with you guys. I'm glad I have AC. Like, we're fortunate right now to be able to even do that. Because we know a lot of our friends don't have that. The lady who just rented the place in front of me, she lost her whole house. She's using her garage to store some of her things that did get saved. It's like, this is real. I mean, I work for those that don't know on the thread here. I work for the Rays. You saw the news. The Trop is missing.
Oh man,
missing from the Trop. Like there's a lot happening here. You know, I mean, like our jobs, our lives, everything's been affected. So whatever you can do to help out, whatever you got, if it's $1, I mean, everything helps. There's a lot of people with a lot less having to do a lot more. So whatever you can do to help is appreciated.
Love it.
Yeah, I think I came home to very minor cosmetic damage, like power was on within a day. And they had said, you guys should get power back by next Thursday, and that was on Friday. And I was staying at another friend's house who had their power back already, so I was lucky that way. But then it was on the next day, and I live behind a gas station, so I knew it was going to come on pretty quick because they wanted to get the gas stations online and start getting gas out again. So, I posted something on Twitter I think before I left. I've born and raised, lived in Florida my entire life, and I've never been as concerned about the impact of the storm as I was with that one, seeing where it was heading and everything else about it. So I'm just glad it wasn't the 180 mile an hours that it was, 2 days before it hit.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it definitely, it looked like a monster, man. I saw that thing and how close it was going to come, and I'm just like, I'm not doing it again.
Again, I know Andy's getting out of here. We want to thank we have guys from all over USL, the whole USL network. It's been great. We've been collaborating and we've been doing more and more across the league, I think, this year than most. So want to thank all these guys, Brian, Andy, of course we had John Morrissey at halftime. Just all and I'm sure there's others that might not have popped up yet that are watching this or might watch it later on when it pops up in their socials. But as the Rowdies lose here 2-0, I am thankful. I am at least happy that all of us as a community of content creators, but also just fans. Again, Brian with the really good thing saying, hey, of all of us in Tampa Bay, but even if you didn't love, you'd appreciate the fellow footy fans. So I appreciate all of you guys that have stuck around for over 2 hours of us jaw-jacking about soccer and the Rowdies and the USL, and definitely not Orange County living in our heads rent-free years later. But yeah, Liz, I'm with you. I have this energy. This is my energy. As soon as I click off on the button, I'm just screaming into the void. But I don't want to upset my kid, but I'll scream into a pillow or something. But playoffs are still alive. We will be back. This is not where we're going. But thank you, Dave. You're a real one, man. All of across, literally internationally, we have been seeing your love has been felt across the pond. For all of you guys. So I've been talking a lot. Matt, any last words before we sign off of the live stream?
I can't believe we pulled this off.
Hey, come on now. Don't underestimate. I know. No. Hey.
You sure as hell did it without me. That's for sure, fellas. Well done on you too.
Oh. No, we literally like in the run up to this, we're just like, hey, we're winging it because that's what Ben and I do best. And as soon as we're done, I'm going to stop with winging it and I'm going to go tender it because that was my dinner coming from Grubhub when I ran off a few minutes ago.
Well, we've had my toddler on screen. We've had dueling black cats on screen.
Right. Yes. That's why we lost.
And it's not why we lost, buddy. But we had 2 goals, 2 cats. Oh man, dude!
You did not just start. What's going on? Oh
no! He cracked the code. Oh no! We had a Grubhub delivery. I had to run to do diapers. I think we checked off all of the bingo card, guys. So
yeah, I thought I had scheduled that to come at halftime, but then I think when I did that, I was thinking it was 5:30 kickoff, not 5. So, oops.
All right, I'm waiting to see. if there's any last comments that you want on screen, I know my beer count. Well, I've been talking. Hold on, I'll bring this up on IG. Our buddy. Of course, I gotta delete some things here. I wish the comment section was a little better on IG. Like to get to port the comments over here, I have to do it manually. But Tampa Bay Rowdies fan, only a beer count of 3 is impressive. The night is young. I'm also I'm not trying to get hammered while I'm by myself with the kid here. So he is playing and having a great time. But Jordan Farr might not be having as much of a good time today. So Ben, your final thoughts as and if any other comments, guys, drop them in here as we're about to sign off. But Mr. Wilcox, thank you for being the man in the middle right now.
Yeah, look, the result sucks. Season's not over though. I'm glad we were able. I'm glad y'all pulled this off and brought me in. It's been a while for all of us Floridians, especially local guys. It's been a while. 4 weeks, man. And personally, professionally, it's been a lot. So I'm glad. Result aside, I'm glad we were able to do this. It's cool to see all the interactions from everybody. I mean, this is what I love about doing this. I wanted to do this forever. I remember when Matt and I first started talking about even doing this, podcasting thing. It was just kind of like it was a pipe dream because I wasn't sure. For a long time, I couldn't talk, and now here I am. I'm year 2.
Still can't talk, dude. You still can't talk, dude.
I mumble. I mumbles. I rant a lot. All right, fine. All right, you're jerking. But here we are. We're doing joint live stream. This is what I had hoped when all started, and this is what I love about the soccer community. It's so much bigger than just a club. It's the soccer community at large is so much bigger. It's the biggest small group of people ever. I love it. I love that about it. It's like
it's massive, Ben.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Laughing you're running off those names, and you're like Dave from Rowdies UK, Brian. Like these guys go back to NASL days.
Oh yeah.
But that's how long that's been.
That's what I love about this, right? It's like, okay, result sucks, but that was a lot of fun. With the guys, I love this, man. I love it, man. And specifically to you guys, Eureka and James and Carlos, what you guys do with RBLR, we love y'all's show. I love listening to y'all guys' show. You guys do such a great job, man.
Hell yeah.
It's a lot of. I'm so glad that this space exists where we're all here and we're all talking about these. I think that that's what this is about. So
all right, boys. Well, if that's it, I'm gonna hit the outro music. From everyone, literally coast to coast in America to overseas and beyond. Please follow the unsubs on all forms of social media. Follow RBR Rowdies on every social media.
That means we got to start doing episodes again.
Well, whatever. You'll figure it out, guys. Come on.
These are for.
But we love you guys. Take it easy. Come on, you Rowdies. We'll see you again sometime.
Thank you for tuning into this presentation by RBLR Sports. On your way out of the stadium, please remember to like and subscribe.